is happening to the animals in the wild, and we desperately need to talk about it and put a stop to it.
I want to show you a clip and I want you to see if you can tell the same thing that I came to after watching this clip.
My dad was a teacher, so I grew up in a home that studied continuous sport. I played tennis, I played... En in het baie moeilik om in Afrikaans te praat as daar net een persoon is wat Afrikaans praat en nie... Natuurlijk, in Afrikaans is saam gepraat. Kan baie respectful wees. I don't know that I started loving the law. I think there were things that I felt very strongly about. I don't know that I started loving the law. Because we have 11 official languages, English is that one that everybody...
So, what did you see? I'll give you more context and then I'll explain what it is that I'm trying to talk about.
We're used to the idea of animals adapting to the state of predators that attack them, called habitualization. And for example, quokkas are these adorable little rodents that live on an island off the coast of Australia that haven't had natural predators until humans introduced them to the mainland, and they had no defenses and died. But they still exist on these islands, and they're adorable, and people take selfies with them. And they're a good example of a species that has adapted to its environment, didn't have any natural predators, no reason to get all these defensive behaviors. And we expect that the more generations between an animal and a predator, the less afraid of that predator the animal is. I don't know if that's always true, but it looks like that's certainly not the case for animals of the African savanna. Leon of the Net set up these cameras and speakers throughout the South African National Park, and they played lion vocalizations, a non-predator sound, which they use birds. And of all those sounds, all species except for two, elephants and wild prairie dogs, or homies, ran more from humans than they did from lions. Like significantly more from humans than they did from lions or gunshots or barks. And they were faster to run from humans than lions or gunshots or barks. We're scared. We're scared.
So basically, the animals are traumatized. They have successfully traumatized wild animals. Now, animals are scared of people and run faster away from just hearing their voice than they run from actual predators. Did you guys notice was it a cheetah that even dropped its catch? It dropped its meal and fled, like zoom. That one. That's crazy.
So basically, these were animals in a South African national park that ran away from human voices that they heard nearby. They didn't even need to know if the humans were there or not. And they ran much faster away from humans than they were running from any other predator. It honestly makes sense to me, considering that animals consistently get kidnapped to be placed in zoos and, the poaching statistics. But what I was paying attention to specifically is the voices themselves. Doesn't it sound like a specific demographic of people? I personally was not there at the South African National Park that they did this experiment in. So I don't particularly know, the full experiment and which voices that they used. But from the clip that I saw, it sounded like a specific demographic of people. And that makes me think, are animals also, generationally afraid of colonizers? Often when we talk about the impacts of colonization, we talk about the impacts that it had on oppressed and marginalized people. But what about the most oppressed or marginalized class of, creatures that exist, the animals? I find it particularly interesting that the people that own these nature reserves, these national parks, the zoos, are the same demographic of people that the animals themselves are running away from consistently. You can go back to the beginning of this clip and listen to these voices, and you'll hear it's predominantly English and Afrikaans. But it specifically sounds like those languages are spoken by the people from those cultural demographics. I don't know about y'all, but I've really been thinking about the animals when it comes to how we're going to mend our relationship with nature, considering that they've been through most of what we've been through as well, especially as African people. I think it's particularly interesting to see how, as African people, we've been demonized for having a harmonious relationship with nature pre colonially. They categorized us as animals because of that. And so we get treated horribly to this day because they've consistently seen us as barbaric and animals. What does that mean for actual animals that aren't even human? We tend to think that it means that they treat them better than us, but look at how these animals are reacting. These animals are petrified. They're more scared of humans than they are of their natural predators, like lions. I can even bet lions are probably also as scared. So it must mean that as African people and as animals, we have a common enemy, which is the colonizer and the oppressor.
And this video right now is reminding me of, you guys remember Brittany Scovel, the lady that went viral a couple of months ago for speaking, saying some very, very outrageous propaganda-ish about South Africa.
What these black African Americans are doing is the white farmers like 3,000 upwards a year. Because why? Because they are greedy and because they can, I guess.
Spreading propaganda about South Africa, how black South Africans are unaliving white South Africans in the astronomical numbers, right? Yeah, you remember Britney Scoville? She went to South Africa to go hunt animals in the safari.
But I still have like 5 animals on my list that I want to shoot. I just haven't seen anything and the weather's been bad. So tomorrow is our last day and I feel like I might be a little screwed. I know what I shoot was going to be kept a secret, but at this point I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it happen. So I'll just let you know what was on the rest of my list. I wanted to shoot a black wildebeest, a ostrich, a leechway, a warthog, a kudu. I'd still shoot another kudu if it came out. I'm pretty positive my kudu's dead somewhere. We just can't find him. Especially with the rain, you can't find any tracks or blood anymore. So tomorrow we are flying a drone. I also believe my mom and I are going to sit separate tomorrow since our last day. So she can hopefully get her buffalo and I can shoot, 5 animals in one day? Wow, my hair looks like... It's been a long day. I'm sweating. I don't smell good. I'm getting ready to take a bath in my mom's room because I don't have a bathtub in my room. I do have an outside shower though. Am I talking too much? Nah. But, it is what it is. I'm just saying, if a giraffe walks out the last day, I'm shooting it. Now, do you want to know why? Let me just tell you something real quick. There's no animal here that's going extinct. Elephants, they're so overpopulated. Zebras, they're so overpopulated. Everything, nothing's going I don't know why the media says this. So I come here and I'm like, oh. Where do I look? There's so many animals.
An American TikToker left America with her family and went to South Africa to go hunt and unalive animals in the wild. That's what they do. So, of course, we know why them animals are scared of them folks. They take trips down to go unalive them. And see how these animals are reacting now. So, of course, the animals are traumatized. Of course, they are scared of humans now. Wouldn't you be if people are daily coming into your home to hunt you down and unalive you?
It's just really disturbing to me because they consistently own these nature reserves, these places where animals are supposed to be protected, but these animals are scared of them, the people who own these places.
These private ownership arrangements, individual ownership arrangements of people owning like safaris and parks and stuff, like, what's that about? How did that even become it? Well, that's a stupid question. How can you even ask how did that become a thing? It became a thing during colonization. Like this thing of private individuals owning parks and safaris, that's so wrong. Like that's not supposed to be a thing. And I say that because owning a safari or a national park, whatever you want to call it, a place in the wild that is home to animals, basically means you now own the animals and you can do whatever it is you want to do with these animals. And that's why people like Brittany Scovel and her family and whoever else can go to these national parks that are privately owned and pay the owners of these national parks whatever it is that they are charging, so they can effectively, conveniently, peacefully hunt down these animals and unalive them.
White African Americans are using their land for profit and bringing money in, whether it's safari hunting, livestock, or crop. However, to shoot an African animal, you have to book through someone. That means I'm how they make their living. I'm not ashamed whatsoever. You can call me a killer. I am. I prefer harvest, though. Trophy hunting, I don't like that term either. People who have the utmost respect for these animals are hunters.
You literally can't make this ish up. People who have the utmost respect for these animals are hunters. Oh yeah, I see it now. They have so much respect for these animals, that's why they dry them up and hang them on their walls. She did try to justify why we need hunters though in this video, talking about, oh, we should be grateful because they are the ones who feed us, who get us the meat that we eat. Yeah, I'm guessing she feeds the world too with all the animals she has up there. Like, the whole thing makes no sense. I've never eaten a giraffe. I've never eaten a skududu or any of these wild animals that they unalive. But somehow they are doing this for us. If not of them, hunger for the kill us. Like, what? Or wait a minute, is it just me, or are people out there going to the market asking for wildebeest meat? Like, just say it with your full chest that you enjoy unaliving animals. So for this reason, you decide to leave your country and travel all the way down to South Africa so you can go support your fellow colonizer who is into the business of unaliving animals. You patronize their business, got the high that you were looking for from unaliving animals, you were happy, and you left. That's what happened here. Let's not make it into something else, please. And I also find it very interesting how she says she doesn't like to be called a trophy hunter, but she literally has animals hung up on her walls like trophies. It's giving Delulu. I think more stringent laws needs to be put in place as regards to our wildlife and their protection, and no individual should be allowed to, for whatever reason, own wildlife in any way, shape, or form. And something else that's not supposed to be a thing is zoos. Zoos are not supposed to be a thing. Like, animals should be free and be in the wild and do what they are doing. What about nature's worth? Is that man is wool? And that is why me, I don't exactly like zoo culture. I don't like it at all, because animals are not supposed to be like caged in. I can understand if there is a hot animal and you take the animal and you care for the animal and you nurse the animal back to health and all of that, but then take the animal back. Don't put this animal in like a cage in a zoo for people to come look at them and poke at them and sometimes even start, making fun of them and making jest of them, to the point where some of these animals are even aware of what you're doing. Some people even go as far as getting these animals agitated and doing things in front of them to, get them riled up, right? Like, I saw a video sometime back of this guy that was at a zoo and he was, getting this was it a chimpanzee? Okay, was it an orangutan? Can't remember. It was one of them primates, right? From what I've gathered, orangutans are chill. So aside from him going into encroaching into the orangutan's territory, which first of all that could have gotten the orangutan riled up, it is said that he possibly was doing other things while he was in there that also added to the fact that he encroached into the orangutan's space, and that's why the orangutan decided to attack him. And no, Ivie is not saying, oh, orangutans are chill. When you see one tomorrow, go and hug it. That's not what I'm saying. We as humans need to understand that animals need their personal space too. We can't go touching on them just because we want to or just because they look cute. These animals can think, they feel, they have desires too. We should learn to respect them and their boundaries.
In this video, we can see probably the most chill orangutan that I've ever seen in my life. I don't know what the cameraman did to incite him though, because a few seconds later, the orangutan is looking like this, walking very aggressively towards the cameraman, and I would not want to be grabbed by this guy. Orangutans are the second strongest primate besides silverback gorillas. This means that they're approximately 7 times stronger than the average human, which is crazy. The only benefit here is though they do look pretty scary, they're actually not very aggressive and typically have positive interactions with humans. However, this doesn't mean that if you provoke them, they won't manhandle you like an adult handling a toddler. Still though, there have been no recorded incidents where orangutans have taken the lives of humans, so I think we're safe for now.
Like, it's bad enough some of these animals are in zoos right now against their will. The least we can do at the moment, us that have no control over this zoo culture, whether or not it exists, the least we can do for these animals that are locked up is to respect them and leave them alone and let them have their space. Please. And I understand that's crazy to say, because if we want to talk about respect here, the disrespect started when these animals were initially caught in the wild, and secondly, the disrespect started when they were locked up to begin with. So if we want to talk about respecting animals here, they should not be locked up in the first place, right? But what I'm trying to say here is, since they're getting locked up anyways, the least the visitors of these establishments can do is respect them even if they are locked up. I know it's disrespectful already that they are locked up, but in their locked up state, still show them some respect. That's what I'm saying. Like, we took them from the open wildlife that they had to themselves, where they could freely roam and enjoy nature and just, thrive. And then we caged them in these little boxes, these little spaces we created for them. And still, we come into those spaces too that is already so small. Like, it's so unfair. We can do better. We should do better. And that guy was lucky. What that orangutan, or was he a chimpanzee, would have done to him that day, he would not have believed his eyes. But I feel not many people might exactly like that I said this, but I said it is true. Like, what is the deal exactly with zoo culture? These animals don't exist for our entertainment. They just aren't. That's not the reason why they are here. They play far more important roles than whatever it is that they are doing in zoos, just sitting there all day and waiting for people to come look at them. Strangers walk in on a daily basis and look at them and take pictures of them. Like, I'm sure these animals want to do more interesting things, be in the wild and do what animals do in the wild and just be free. But no, let's catch them and put them in a zoo and just let strangers, random strangers, walk in all day and stare at them. That's crazy.
And these same people who own these nature reserves and do work there tell us as African people that we should look after our environment and take care of the animals. But the animals are scared of them, and we as Africans are also scared of them. We're also scared of the colonizer descendants. So, who's the problem here?
Well, everybody knows where the danger is. We know where the danger is, man. I know this whole thing goes back to colonization, because interestingly and unfortunately, when we talk about colonization and the effects of colonization, we don't exactly talk about the effects colonization had on nature as much as we need to. I mean, we do talk about it, like, from time to time, but we don't talk about it as much as we need to. We talk about the effect it has on us, right? Which we should do. But there is more to the effects that colonization had. Colonization affected nature in such a way that till date nature has not even been able to recuperate. There are articles and conversations online of how modern nature was basically traumatized. I don't know how else. That's the only way to put it. Like, modern nature was traumatized. She saw something that she has not seen before. It was just so much happening to the point where our ecosystem is not even the same again. Like, everything changed Colonization affected everything and everyone. It's insane. It's wild. Certain animals now have gone extinct or about to go extinct because during colonization they were unalived in ways like mad numbers, right? So the traumatization of the animals and the traumatization of our planet not be today it starts, like it goes way back, like 400, 500 years ago. That's when it started. Until date, nature is still getting traumatized. What happened this past 400 years isn't enough. They're still piling on. They've changed the world and still continue to change the world in a way that I don't even think at the moment we even really know to the exact extent of just how much they have changed this world negatively for everyone and everything. Now I find out about animals. Maybe one day we'll be finding out about how plants are traumatized. Like, it's messed up, man. It's crazy. The universe have memory. It remembers the pain, it remembers the trauma. We often talk about how we inherited generational trauma, but goddamn, from the look of these animals, they too, it seems, are suffering from generational trauma.
Like, how are we to say that we are going to mend our relationship with nature when we really hardly consider the experiences that animals have been throughout? I mean, I'm not even going to deny the existence of, environmentalists and advocates for animal rights. But how often are they in the conversation when we talk about reimagining a future without colonialism? Because honestly speaking, if I was an animal or if I was existing as an animal right now, I would not trust humans. To be fair, I don't think I do, even as a human, but as an animal, it would be so much worse because we can't communicate, I just personally think after all that we've been through as African people, we should probably think more about what the animals that we used to live in harmony with are also experiencing. It's just really unfortunate that they've twisted and distorted our perception of animals that we used to be able to take care of, so that now we are scared of them. But we're not scared of them because they are always scary. Half of the time, they don't really care. They mind their own business. We're scared of them because the colonizers, did their divide and conquer method in the same way that there are people who are scared of African foreigners, even though they are African as well. In no way am I saying that we and animals are the same, but I'm saying we had a relationship that was demolished by colonizers. Especially because of the way that the perception of animals has been demonized against us. Now we don't want to look like those animals as well. We want to seem civilized and professional and rational and intelligent. As if animals aren't being intelligent as for knowing that they should run away from certain humans. But yeah, in order for us to really fully encompass, our resistance towards the system, we have to think about every single thing and every single creature that has been detrimentally impacted for the last, 5 centuries. Because honestly, if we're going to have a society that's fully functioning in nature, we're going to have to remember how an ecosystem works. And that means we have to protect all parts of the ecosystem as well. Personally, I don't really know how that would even work because of the effects of climate change and how it's just going to get worse as time goes on. Especially also because the economy is collapsing and money is being hoarded by those who created this climate change crisis. We're just gonna have to be extremely creative and resourceful and strategic because the babies need our help. Mother Nature and her sweet little babies do not want us in their kingdom, okay? They are petrified of us. Mother Nature is telling the babies, do not trust these scary, scary people. And I get it. What else would they have left to do except to be scared? So yeah, I've just been really thinking about this for some time and I just needed a confirmation. What about the animals that have experienced colonization as well. Because honestly, Mother Nature is looking at these people hunting these animals and doing taxidermies, stuffing their corpses. Mother Nature has been watching these people kill little animals to make dolls out of them and keep them in their homes. You want to have a doll of an animal corpse. It's disturbing to me. I've never liked those things. I've never liked how they look. It just looks weird because thinking about how they think about African people, who's to say they never did that to us as well? Scary. Who's to say they've never wanted to taxidermy us as African people? They've tried everything. They were eating us too.
They actually used to eat black people. There's even a book on this, right? The what's the book called? What's this book called again? Or oh my goodness, what's it called? The Delectable Negro. Yeah, check out that book if you haven't. So if they used to do that, if they used to do that, if they used to use black people's hairs to do stuffings for furnitures, if they used to take body parts from black people after, lean and chin them, of course it's not go hard for them to do the same thing that they do with the animals, where they kill them and hang their heads and bodies on wall after getting them dried or mummified. I don't know how they do it, right? Of course, in that one not go hard them to do. I won't be shocked if they did that as well to black people. I won't be shocked. I won't be surprised at all.
So yeah, I guess this is something that I just think about very, very often, and I'm wondering if other people have thought about it too.
We need to talk about this more because watching these animals react the way they did actually broke my heart. It did. Like, especially with the cheetah that dropped its meal. That's crazy. Like, it dropped its meal and ran. This comment says, apparently during colonial times, cheetahs or leopards in brackets, this person is not sure, she can't recall, had to unalive a lot of people in order to try and protect their lives. Wow. These are parts of history that needs to be discussed. I didn't know of this. Like, I knew that they were unaliving animals and, stealing their tusk and, doing some very outrageous things to them. But, like, the conversation of how the animals were fighting back, that's parts that me, I was not aware of. I wasn't told of that. I've not read of it anywhere, right? So crazy that they knew they were being driven out of their own homes. Wow. These animals are very aware of what's going on. And the animals did this because they were being driven out of their own homes, because them colonizers came down and were encroaching into their homes and taking lands and doing ish, and the animals had to protect themselves. This is crazy. Like, what is this study called? I want to look into this study and, get more information on this. And if I do, I don't know if you guys would be interested to, know what I find. Let me know down below in the comments. But I want to look into this. I'm trying to see in the comments if I can find what the study is called. But so far, no information here, but I'll see what I can find outside of TikTok. I saw this video and I thought it's very interesting, and it's something that we need to talk about. Justice for the animals, for real. I tell you, we need to protect the animals. But yeah, guys, this is quite an interesting video. I came by it randomly one day when I was scrolling on TikTok, and I thought, we need to add more volume to this. So I thought I should bring it on the channel as well. And of course, I cannot wait to hear what you guys think of this. So do let me know down below in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching. And of course, as always, I would see you guys in the next one. Bye.